No stud, floaty, humbled. It has been a very rough week for the YouTube side of the strongest battlegrounds because a lot of the bigger creators are quote unquote quitting. Boy, y'all not really quitting, boy. But yeah, everybody is quitting and they're all going to Forsaken. And it's very sad because it really does seem like the YouTube content relating to the strongest battlegrounds might be coming to a very low point. There's no content on the game. And although you guys might say that, yes, there is hundreds of thousands of players still playing the game every single day, in terms of video ideas, there is nothing. A lot of YouTubers are starting to pay the price. They got to switch over to other games. Now, the main reason I decided to make this video in the first place was Floatyzone's video where he quit himself. I think I liked that he did. He talked to a lot of other YouTubers and they gave some insight as to why they don't really make content for TSB anymore, because a lot of these guys that he talked to, they're not really as active on the game or not really active on YouTube in general. But one thing that really infuriated me was the fact that none of these bigger YouTubers really mentioned the fact why TSB is not actually updating. And no, I'm not going to clickbait this time, trust. And I really think this falls on the devs because these guys promise bi-weekly updates, but after the last one, they just dipped. They're nowhere to be found. And I actually do think that the last update was the Monster Garu update on July 13th. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a month. I'm just gonna say my true feelings. The transformation itself is buns. I could see they took direct inspiration from Garu's original ultimate and it just did not pay off because this is TSB. These guys themselves have raised the bar of Battlegrounds game alone, where you need good animations, you need good visual effects, you need good sound effects in order to have a good Battlegrounds game now. And a lot of people are going to say Jujutsu Shenanigans. Aaron, what about Jujutsu Shenanigans? Well, Jujutsu Shenanigans is the anomaly. Bro, throw that out in the Battlegrounds genre, which is really not doing well, but I'm going to get into that later. And I think the backlash that came with this update demotivated the devs a lot, and they kind of just all went on vacation. I mean, these guys are printing millions of dollars without any updates needed. Hats off, good sirs, hats off. You know, I wish I could get, one day I'm gonna get to that level. Now, the content is another major reason why a lot of bigger TSB YouTubers are quitting. A lot of these guys, they would reuse the same ideas, which there's only so many times you can do that. If you really take a hard look at the strongest battlegrounds, it's basically just a base plate with pre-made characters that you fight a bunch of random people on. There's only so much content you can make on this game, and I could only imagine what it's like for all these other bigger YouTubers. Also, Tech Prodigy, which is a character released 5 months prior to Monster Garu, has still not yet been completed. A lot of you might be saying, Aaron, the mech, it's very hard to develop. And yes, while I do agree that the mech, you could probably count the amount of parts that are inside the mech alone if you look at it very closely, but then again, it's been 8 months and I don't want to hear that bull crap about Santino's hand is broken, because unless this mother was working in hard labor construction or he was fighting Goku and his dominant hand just got fractured to pieces, it is literally improbable that it's not recovered by now. There's no way. But regardless of that, I'm not gonna look too much into it. It's something personal for Santino. Also, please, Santino, please respond to messages. It's been almost 2 years. And now to compare, in 2025 we have gotten 0 characters. I'm not gonna count Garu because Monster Garu is a mastery. In 2023, we got Saitama, Garu, Genos, Sonic, Blade Master, which is Atomic Samurai, and Metal Bat. If you were counting, that is 6 characters in 2023 alone. Now, a big part of why they have not been able to release that many characters as of late is it has to go back to the quality problem. TSB has, again, raised the bar so high where they kind of have to top themselves at this point, because if they don't, you know, just look at Monster Garu. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Monster Garu's first ultimate move, it's really nice. It really is a really cool cutscene. The transformation is just ass. And when watching Floatyzone's video, a lot of the YouTubers that went on to speak with him, they said that the devs, they don't care. Although the devs are communicating from time to time, they are not entirely there anymore as they once were during the Battlegrounds craze. Now, when talking about the Battlegrounds genre, oh man, it's really not in a good state right now. The games that are gonna stay stay here have already made their mark. JJS, TSB, Heroes Battlegrounds, Legends Battlegrounds. These are games that have built their own little niche communities, and they're going to be here for the long haul. They're going to stay put. But now if you were to release a Battlegrounds game in the state of the genre now, it's probably not going to do well. Well, unless you're Jump Showdown, which is actually pretty peak. But regardless of that, if you were to release a Battlegrounds game right now, you're probably gonna flop, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The trend right now is brain rot. It's not really Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds had their time. The craze happened. The hype was at its peak, and now it's died down. Things have leveled out.
The best case scenario is they continue updating it frequently, but the game will not gain popularity anymore. It'll, instead of, going downhill, it'll just keep steady at what it is right now. But I don't think the game has that much room to grow anymore.
After the update hype dies down, it's just gonna go back to around hundreds of thousands of players, which a lot of people are saying that's bad. Bro, that's not bad. 100,000 players, you know how many people that is? That is literally more than some countries as a whole. And it's kind of like Blox Fruits. TSB is pretty much in the same boat as Blox Fruits, where they both have their little niche communities that will play the game no matter if it's sunshine or rainfall, even if there's an update on the way or not, which leads to the developers of these games in turn realizing that they don't have to put in as much effort releasing an update every 1 to 2 weeks just to keep the numbers up. And the ultimate reason why I do believe the strongest Battlegrounds is not updating and a lot of people are leaving, well, YouTubers, they don't have to update the game anymore. They get hundreds of thousands of players concurrently every day. I am 100% sure these devs have realized that. What's the rush? Now, as a TSB YouTuber, this does hurt me a lot because, bro, I have no content and I really do love this game. I'm not going to sit here and bash the game. I'm not going to be one of those TSB general drones just asking for a goddamn update every single second of the hour. As a person that has gotten very wise with time, I do realize that development does take a long time, especially with Tech Prodigy's mech, which is they kind of shot themselves in the foot with Tech Prodigy. So I don't know what they're going to do with that, but with the quality standard that these guys have set for themselves and the entirety of the Battlegrounds genre as a whole, they have to meet those expectations now, because if they don't, you're just going to get another situation where you're going to get a giant hate wave like you did with Monster Garber's Ultimate and that update as a whole, because I don't really think that much got added into that update. And yes, even though I was one of the people that initially I did not like the update, I do not hate this game. I just want to clarify this right now. I do not hate the strongest Battlegrounds. In fact, I did it out of a place of love, and maybe I really do love this game. This game is the entire reason why my YouTube channel exists today. I will always be there for this game. I will never stop coming back to this game, and that is the case for a lot of other YouTubers that you guys are probably subscribed to as well. But regardless of that, if it's really as what the YouTubers in Floatyzone's video said, then if the developers don't care, then what are the YouTubers supposed to do? The only thing we could do is play other Roblox games, which our audience is playing. And don't get me wrong, TSB still has a lot in the tank. It is literally based off of One Punch Man, which has so many characters that they could still put into the game. But if the devs don't care, then I guess it just dies. It just never updates again.